everyone, I'm Jessica Stutzman and welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. The Erie Area Council of Governments, better known as the COG, was founded in 1993 as a voluntary association of Erie County municipalities. The Erie Area COG works to improve the lives of Erie County residents through multi-municipal projects, programs, and services. Joining us today is Jessica Horan-Kunco, the Executive Director. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me.
Well, and I gave just a very brief intro, but what is a Council of Governments? What does that mean?
Well, what it means is the municipalities in Erie County choose to join our organization as members, and through their members, they do things like share programming, share services, work on shared projects, and they really have the opportunity to do many more things together than they could do alone. Mm-hmm. You know, as you know, some of our municipalities are as small as 400, 500 residents, all the way up to the city of Erie being the largest municipality. So that group is able to leverage much more activity and much more accomplishments together than alone.
Right, and it is such a great partnership. I know that, Millcreek Township's involved, and you can either, save money, save time, resources by partnering with your neighbor.
Right, and we like to utilize each other as a sounding board and as an opportunity to learn from each other. So if a municipality is interested in a certain type of activity that they have not done before in their municipality, they can call upon the other members for their experience and their guidance in going forward. Mm-hmm.
And so, with your mission, what's your vision for the future?
Well, our vision is to become the lead voice for intergovernmental cooperation throughout Erie County, but also to achieve excellence throughout Erie County by working together. Mm-hmm. We really want to leverage our resources amongst each other and share amongst each other in order to make us all stronger and make our community better throughout Erie County.
Right. And the organization has been around since, like I said, 1993, and you guys are really going strong.
Right. In 2016, we underwent a strategic plan to really define the direction we ought to be going. And one of the things, we redefined our mission, we redefined our purpose, and we set some goals for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So since 2016, we've been really trying to do more and to provide more services to our members and to accomplish more as a group. So we're really proud of, really the initiatives we've launched because of that strategic plan.
Absolutely. And who are those members?
Our members, we originally started out with 9 members of the COG. Those members were originally invited to be part of the organization because of the water service delivery area of Erie Waterworks when it changed to Erie Waterworks. Currently we have 13 member governments, and we continue to invite others to join. Our members include the City of Erie, the County of Erie. We have several boroughs. We have Girard Borough and Wesleyville Borough. We also have the townships of Franklin, Girard, Greenfield, Harbor Creek, Lawrence Park, LaBeouf, Millcreek, Summit, and Venango. So we've really tried to expand the membership and offer more that helps broader group than just the immediate urban area here in the city, around the city of Erie. So we're really proud of that. We do offer a lot of services to our members. We do often offer our services to non-members as well. They just have to pay a bigger price to be part of those services because they are not a member. So we certainly encourage membership.
Right. And what programs specifically have you been able to offer to this group?
Yeah, so our most well-known program that most folks participate in is our joint bidding program. So that is designed to help to reduce the costs that each municipality has to pay for things like bid advertisement, for bid review and bid packet preparation, for bid openings. And that whole bid administration process is very cumbersome. So you can imagine on a small municipality with a secretary that's working in the office, that's something that's very difficult and very hard for them to manage. So what the COG does is we offer the opportunity for municipalities to join together and bid products, materials, and services through the COG. That can be anything from road materials, from paving materials, to stop signs and street signs, to trees, as you know about. So we're doing 2 things. We're saving them on the administration of the bid and the costs associated with that, but we're also taking advantage of economies economies of scale and buying down prices for the little guys. So our Franklin Township, that is one of our smallest members at 1,500 residents, is getting the same price for the rock materials that they need to improve their roads as the city of Erie is getting, because they're taking advantage of bulk discounts on pricing. So it's really advantageous to those small players.
Now, that does sound like a lot of work, especially for a small municipality. Are you an office of one, or do you have help for?
I am an office of one.
Okay, so you have a lot of
Yeah.
you have a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah.
and it's a big undertaking for
It
you
is.
as well.
The COG, I'm the only employee of the COG. I work full-time for the COG. I report to the delegates. Each municipal member appoints delegates to serve on our board, and those folks operate like a board of directors to kind of give me instruction and guidance on the programs and services and projects, and also to tell me what the needs are, because although I have some experience in municipal government, I don't know the needs of all the members of our organization. And some of the needs are unique that maybe would fit more rural members as opposed to more urban members, and they provide that information so that we can help them. We can be sure to provide something that's useful to that municipality. But our bidding items, you know, we do achieve a great savings for the municipalities, including, like, for instance, one of the things we put out for bid is gas and diesel fuel. You can't believe over 1 million of gallons of gas, 1 million of gallons of diesel are purchased by municipalities each year. So if they have to go and seek that price themselves, they don't get as good a price as we can get as we do it collectively. So that's just one example of savings we can provide for them.
And do you, and I don't know if this is too grand of a scale to think about, do you know how much money you've saved the municipalities, either again on a small scale, you know, for, you know, gallons of gasoline, or maybe on a larger scale, you know, what you've saved them on the whole?
Well, we know some anecdotal evidence. We don't have exact data because it's pretty difficult to compare what price you would have got if you didn't go through us, because we don't really know. We can't really quantify what price they could have gotten. So we know, for instance, on the city of Erie, they always do a crack sealing program every year. The one year they called to get a price, and they have forgotten that they were involved with the COG bid, and the price was $20,000 more than the price that I had through the COG bid.
Wow.
Luckily, they remembered before they entered a contract to spend an extra 20 grand.
Yeah.
But like the gas and diesel fuel pricing, we're getting prices that are either 1 or 2 cents above OPIS pricing, which is unheard of for you to be able to buy at the pump. And many municipalities might have been using fueling cards and things like that, and they're paying what you're paying at the pump, less taxes and things of that nature, but they aren't getting discounted prices. We're getting discounted prices for them. We do compare our prices that we get through joint bids at times to CoStar's, which is a state joint purchasing cooperative. And when we compare our prices that we put for Erie County, specific Erie County items that are sourced in Erie County, our prices are 9 out of 10 times cheaper than the state prices.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So we know our prices are good. And we know, you know, being a one-person operation, I know how much work it is to do this, and I would just as soon, if I'm going to do it, bring all the municipalities together and do it for a big group of municipalities, rather than have anybody go through this by themselves. It's a lot of work. So.
Absolutely. And not only is this beneficial, like you said, to each of the townships, or to the little guy, or even to the big guy who, you know, everybody's making, you know, great savings through the COG. This then is eventually passed along to the taxpayers, because you're not overpaying for a project or a product.
Right.
Is that right?
Exactly. Yes, they're saving money. You know, we're able to help them, you know, to save money on their budgets, and they're not doing increases, they're not doing taxes increases, stuff like that. You know, anything we can do to save them money, we do. We do a lot with grant projects too. So I look for opportunities to be able to seek multi-municipal project grants and to bring something into their community that they wouldn't otherwise have been able to do. So that's a cost savings too, in that if they had to pay for it out of their budget, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Right. And tell me, why do you think multi-municipal grants are so much stronger together than maybe if a municipality were to apply by themselves? Why do you think the multi-municipal grants are so much stronger?
Well, I think it shows that we are concerned about each other, not just always focused on what's happening in our own backyard. And I think that's one of the things that we, in the last few years since I've been on the COG, we've really tried to do is to care about each other and care about impacting across municipal lines. You know, people who live in Erie don't know, oh, I just crossed into Millcreek, oh, I just crossed into Summit. They just know we live in Erie, and we want our community to be strong and healthy and to thrive. So I think it kind of puts people back in that mindset that we need to do things together. And the multi-municipal grant making often comes around how we can share each other's expertise. So for instance, your Millcreek may have some experts in this department, engineering for instance, that can help Summit that doesn't have an expert in that particular department. And if we can make a collective project, we can achieve more and get it done for both communities.
Right. And if you don't mind, I want to share, you know, that we've recently talked about a tree grant and some tree plantings.
And that's what we want to do, is we want to leverage the expertise and the professionals that live and work throughout maybe one community in Erie, but utilize them and share them throughout the other municipalities. So although Sarah works for the city, she works as the consultant, as the arborist on this project, and so the COG is making sure that she gets some compensation for her time with us, but she's one going out to Harbor Creek and Lake City and Girard and checking locations and tree species for this project without sharing our resources that we have. If we all just live in isolation, then we can't accomplish this. So it really is a good example of how this program is designed to work.
It is, and I like what you said about, you know, it really being a seamless transition. People don't know when they cross over from Millcreek into Fairview or into Summit or Harbor Creek or the city of Erie, and you know, why should we want them to know there's a difference? We want it to be seamless.
Right. And we know that whatever you do in your municipality, it does impact neighbors. So it's you know, it's impactful both ways, negatively and positively. So if we try to consider our neighbors as we make our decisions in our communities, then we're going to make better decisions for the whole community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
that's very well put. And so speaking of, you know, our neighbors and the multi-municipal collaborations, tell me about the workshops that you put on for everybody.
Yeah, so when we did our strategic plan, one of the things that we identified that was a gap in Erie County was training for folks that serve the municipality. So either they're employees of a municipality or they serve on a planning commission or a zoning hearing board, or in some capacity an auditor for their township. And we often miss out on training opportunities in Erie County. Different organizations will host trainings, but they'll be in Meadville, or they'll be in Pittsburgh, or they'll be in a variety of places, but not up here in Erie County. And having served for so many years on city council, I know how hard it is for both elected officials and volunteers who serve on commissions and whatnot to travel to go for a training, take time out of their work. Most of the folks have other jobs besides being maybe they're a council person, but they have another job. Even the township supervisors in many cases have another job. So we designed a workshop training series, and we launched that in 2016, and we've held 7 training workshops, and we've trained over 216 people at our workshops. And two things that I really pride myself in doing is making sure that the workshops are in the evening, so they're convenient to folks who are working elsewhere. And if you work for the township or the borough, you might have a job to do all day long, but in the evening you can learn and be trained, and to make it affordable. We also try to make it affordable. So some trainings and workshops you'll see advertised for different organizations cost hundreds of dollars to send your staff to. We're pretty low priced, and we want to make sure that's a benefit we can offer thanks to our membership. And because our members pay dues and are able to support our organization, we're able to have low price training that they can do here in Erie. We actually have a workshop coming up on September 13th. It's going to be on municipal budgeting, which it's time for that. Yeah, it's definitely time.
It is time for that.
It's time for it.
Whoa, it's coming up quickly.
Yeah, so that will be held in Lawrence Park Township on September 13th.
Wonderful.
And you know, I mean, I'm sure you've seen, working for the township, that there's a lot of turnover in municipal government. So you always need to refresh and train new people,
Right.
you know, get someone up to speed that has never done this before.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to be for them. And the workshops, you know, I really get a lot out of them too, because
Yes.
you just forget stuff. You always need to be retrained.
And I was just going to say that. I mean, I've been in my position for 6 years now, but that doesn't mean that what I learned year one, you know, I do need a refresher course.
Right.
And so I know that a little while ago you held a class on the co-stars purchasing, and that was so helpful. That was so informative. We actually sent several of our
Yes, you
department
did.
heads,
Yeah,
because you know that's just really, really good information.
And
How
it's
can we
hard
save money?
to do that. And
exactly.
You can't learn on your own. And
Exactly.
think of the time it would take you to try to figure out
Yes.
something on your own.
Right, right. And you know, and that is a difficult website to navigate, and your speaker and your presenter, you know, we had hands-on computers, we were able to be, you know, we walked through everything. So, you know, we were really grateful for that particular program. What are some of the other topics that you've hosted in the past?
We have done planning commissions, and I know at that time when you did have some planning commissioners from Millcreek Township come, and then just recently we did comprehensive planning, although Millcreek is already far along in that process, so that we were not training you guys, we were training the folks. There's many of communities that don't have an up-to-date comprehensive plan, so we did comprehensive planning. We've done zoning hearing boards to teach them what their role is and what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do. We've done elected auditors, which is also an elected position that folks might have got elected in January, and they've got to start doing auditing for their township, you know, right away. So we had elected auditors training, and we've done emergency management and the role of the elected official. And there's an expectation, although communities may have emergency managers, but that the elected official knows what their job is in the case of an emergency. So we had some great training on that. So we kind of design the trainings that are needed by our municipal group. And every time I host a training, I always ask the participants what they need, because I want to make sure we're filling the needs that they see. So we'll keep going and developing.
Right.
And some of them are timely that you have to repeat, like we may do this budgeting one every year, because it would be useful, you know, to helping people to do their municipal budgets. So
absolutely, but you're listening, and I think that's the most important part, is that, you know, you're taking this feedback that, you know, the supervisors or mayors or you know, again, township auditors, you know, you're listening to them and you're providing them with the resources that they need to do their job well.
Right. That's what we're trying to do. The other thing that we do along with the workshop is we launched a couple years ago an annual assembly. And that is more of a broader, not a workshop per se, but an opportunity to assemble elected officials and municipal staff members around an issue of regional importance. So it's not so much like this is how you do something, it's what's this big broad issue that's on the horizon, and how do we tackle it, what should we do to be prepared. And so in May, we hosted speakers on land banks. And what is a land bank, and how does that work, and what should you expect from a land bank? Because knowing that the county has passed an ordinance to create a land bank, and that the municipalities would be the ones who would have the benefit of that land bank, we were able to bring in expert speakers. They came from Philadelphia and from the Pittsburgh area, and they really were able to tell us from their experience how this should work and what are best practices. So we're trying to serve as a point of assembly and education for municipalities.
Yeah, of course, and you're doing such a good job. Tell me about the IT support, website, and social media development support that you provide as well.
Okay. Several years ago, before I was in this position, the COG received a grant to do what they were calling at that time eGov, try to encourage municipalities to move to more electronic, digitized platforms. So get out of the paper world and do things on your computer and save records digitally and things like that. So we've been doing that for a number of years now, and one of the spin-off programs has been website development assistance and social media development assistance. So municipalities, you know, that don't have a website or want to upgrade a website would come to us, and I would help them by engaging. I have a web developer that I have formed a relationship with, and he and I have come to an understanding of what is to be expected on a municipal website. You know, if you go out and you just talk to a business website developer, they don't know what a municipality is trying to relay to their audience. So we have been working together over several projects. We created a website for Franklin Township, which didn't have one. We also did one for Greenfield Township that didn't have one. We've done some redesign for other communities to make the websites mobile responsive and modern, so that they're not something you put together 10 years ago. You know, as you know, things change all the time. So, and several of the communities that you wouldn't think, you know, are that progressive have Facebook, and they use that to communicate directly with their residents, and we're able to help them design that as well. So.
And Facebook, social media, that's so easy, such a quick way to get, you know, messages out to the public. So, you know, obviously it's a good tool to use, but, you know, websites always provide you with that extra place for information or for PDFs or, you know, really specific, you know, township related topics.
Well, and municipalities often need to learn that this is something they want. So without us initiating this program and talking to them about the opportunities, they probably wouldn't have thought of that on their own. But when we can tell them from our experience that if you want to get, you know, like an alert out to your residents, if you have a Facebook presence and they follow you, look, they'll get that. It'll be so easy, and you won't. It'll be seamless to get information. You won't have to, you know, whatever method you were using before to get information directly to your residents. So we're encouraging them to use those type of social media sources to make their jobs easier.
Yeah, and another job to make their life easier. And we again talked about trees, and I want to make sure I get, you know, through a couple of your talking points here, because we've got so much to cover. But grant writing assistance, you do provide assistance with that, and again we talked about specifically the tree grant, but was there anything else that you're working on right now? Right
now, actually, we're working on working with one of our members, Wesleyville Borough, on a park grant that's actually going out today. It's going to be submitted today. So one of the things that we know small municipalities can't afford to employ a grant writer, and even don't have the time to go seeking grants. So I learned about a couple grant opportunities, and I'll take them to the municipalities and help them to write the grants. So we're working on that as of today. In the summer, we were able to apply for 3 multi-municipal grants through ECRA. The one was the trees, to continue on the tree program, which this is actually our second round. We planted 90 some trees in the first grant round, and this round will be able to plant around 245 trees in this project round. And but we've applied for grants together, multi-municipal, and even the grant we're applying for that's for going out today for Wesleyville Borough Park is a collaboration between the COG, Wesleyville Borough, and Environment Erie. So what we're always trying to do is to get people to collaborate if they're collaborating either across municipalities or with agencies or entities that can support them. And so we're building those collaborations. The multi-municipal ones, other grants that we receive a grant that is a Summit and Millcreek grant to finalize the preemption signals on your traffic signals. Those two municipalities will be able to accomplish that together, because the expertise at Millcreek on how to install these traffic signals will help out those at Summit that need to be trained and learn how to do that too. So that's a great multi-municipal collaboration.
It really is. Jessica, we only have about 1 more minute, but the one thing I want to make sure we don't forget to talk about is the Greater Erie Regional Trail Network. Can you touch on that briefly?
Yes, that project came about as an opportunity for municipalities that have recreational walking trails in their communities or in their parks. And what the Greater Erie Regional Trails objective is to draw attention to and increase use of those walking trails throughout communities. So particularly in parks, we know a lot of great trails exist in municipal parks, such as Scott Park, for instance, Headwaters Park in Millcreek, 6 Mile Creek Park in Harbor Creek, and Harbor Creek Community Park. So what we're doing is we are drawing attention to those what they have. We've done signage to help people to be able to find these trail locations so they can take a walk and enjoy an outdoor space and get those benefits that you get from walking in the woods and walking even in a city park where you're just shocked at the views and the things you can see walking on Erie's Bayfront or Frontier Park. So it's called Great Erie Regional Trails, but we have a website called erietrails.org, and folks can look that up, and that would tell them what to expect when they would arrive at that trail location, both a map of what the trail looks like and also details about features, pictures of what's there, things to do with those trail network members.
Well, I'm so glad, and just thank you so much for coming on today and onto the show and talking to myself and our viewers about all of these great benefits that the COG provides to the municipalities and ultimately the residents of Erie County. Like I said, there's so much that you're doing. You have your hand in a lot of things, and I really, really appreciate you coming on and talking about everything. And if somebody wants to get involved or a municipality is watching this show, they should become a member.
Yes, absolutely. And if they would like to look us up, our website is www.erieareacog.org.
Wonderful. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Viewers, again, Jessica has shared so many great programs, grant opportunities, the Greater Erie Regional Trail Network. You're going to want to check out that website. If you have any questions for her at all, or if you think that you could benefit by reaching out to the Erie Area COG, we've put Jessica's contact information here on the screen. Viewers, thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel, and until next time, have a great day.